It is not written that out of people with equivalent qualifications, preference will be given to a person from such and such a tribe and not to another person. Nigerian law safeguards the rights of all the Nigerians. Likewise, when you go to elsewhere, decisions are based on the principles of merit. It is another matter that sometimes preference is given to some at the cost of others because of personal contacts and nepotism. Nevertheless, as far as the making of law is concerned, as I have said, parity is asserted. But Allah, the Almighty, says that if He is a friend of anyone, it is with one who is righteous. Anyone who enjoys a rank in His sight does so because of his righteousness and not because of his tribe or nation. As a result, no one can gain undue advantage in His court. The believer should also remember the divine injunction to take on the colors of God and should fulfill the requirements of justice. An Ahmadi who claims to be a believer must remember to never let go of justice. He has to use his authority with justice and also be mindful of righteousness. Rights must be given to whom they belong. It should not be that the right of one from another tribe should be offered to your own tribe, because that is far removed from taqwa or righteousness. It is far removed from the ways that an Ahmadi has committed himself to walk when he undertook the covenant of allegiance at the hands of the promised Messiah al-Islam. Remember, you have two responsibilities. One is to honor your covenant of Bai'at, and the other is to cherish the love of your country. Never abandon justice. Once you are established on justice and fair play, you will be instrumental more than ever before in taking your country to the rank of the advanced nations of the world. Otherwise, remember, your tribe's power or wealth will be of no avail to you. The Almighty Allah has been very gracious to Nigeria and has enriched it with many natural resources. You have petroleum, gas, and minerals such as zinc, limestone, iron ore, and columbite, etc. God has blessed you with agriculture as well. Many crops grow here, and much more can be cultivated. Moreover, God made your forefathers fortunate enough to accept all the prophets up to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is why the majority of the country's population is Muslim. And then afterwards, God blessed the Ahmadis for accepting the Messiah and Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam. All these favors demand that the Ahmadis particularly should be grateful to Allah the Almighty, so that Allah continues to multiply His blessings. Raise the standard of your good deeds. That indeed is gratitude. When the Almighty Allah blesses a believer with His favors, he advances in his good deeds. Allah the Almighty says in the Holy Quran, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةَ أَنِ اشْكُرْ لِلَّهِ وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. And we bestowed wisdom on Luqman, saying, be grateful to Allah, and whoso is grateful only for the good of his own soul, and whoso is ungrateful, then surely Allah is self-sufficient, praiseworthy. A principle has been stated in this verse: be grateful for Allah's favor. Why? So that Allah may bless you further for your gratitude. It is you who will benefit. Allah does not need your gratitude or your praise or glorification. Elsewhere, Allah the Almighty states, وَإِسْتَعَذَّنَ رَبُّكُمْ لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَإِن كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. And remember also the time when your Lord declared, if you are grateful, I will surely bestow more favor on you. But if you are ungrateful, then know that my punishment is severe indeed. Hence, if you want to derive benefit from His favor on a permanent basis, then you need to be grateful, or else Allah the Almighty has warned in very strong words of dire consequences, as stated in the verse I have just read. The possibility of divine punishment makes a true believer tremble. Therefore, every believer should try to understand the spirit of gratitude to Allah that can only be achieved with real obedience. When you have the passion for obedience to Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you will look for the proper method of expressing gratitude. First of all, fill your heart with love of God for His blessings and favors. Keep counting His blessings in your heart all the time, and think how great is His grace that He granted me the good fortune of accepting the Imam of the age, who is in total servitude to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allah has blessed my country with rich resources. Then, secondly, resort to glorification and praise of Allah as a verbal expression of gratitude to Him. And finally, express your gratitude with the proper use of powers and capabilities granted by Allah. A farmer, for instance, should farm using all his skills to produce the crop in the best possible way to meet the needs of the country, so that it will not be indebted to others for food. A factory owner should set the highest standard for his products, not only to fulfill the needs of the country, but also to make his mark in the international market.